Boom, what up? Woo, excuse me. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I'm your host, AD Walker, the pusher, the grower, the motivator. Welcome. Let's go. What's up, Lisa? Thank you for sharing. Sharing is always caring. Appreciate you guys for being here, being a part of all that we do. Let's see. Bless you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. um, just another day. So make sure you share. Sharing is caring. So today we are discussing something a little taboo that people don't talk about. Can we talk about money? And what I mean by that, do you struggle with the conversation of money and what you have, what you don't have, what you lack, what you're trying to do? Even outwardly saying what your credit score is. You know, for those that are not at a 700. Um, not today. Wednesday. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate you. So I appreciate you guys for being here, rocking with us. Another edition of the Brothers of Legacy, where we don't stand out, we stand up. I just got a message. Where am I? I'm right here. So again, I appreciate you guys for being a part of all that we do. Make sure you are sharing this broadcast. What else? If you're on Facebook, make sure you're sharing, make sure you're tag somebody that should be a part of this conversation. If you know a tax professional, tag them as well. Get them in these conversations. I need to talk to them as well. If you know a certified public financial planner, certified financial planner, CFP, let me know. I need to talk to them as well. Him or her. Yeah, just I know kind of rando, but I just throw it out there. So make sure you're sharing. Make sure you're letting everybody know that the brothers are in the building. So like today, I kind of want to have this conversation about money, right? Can we talk about money? We talk about building. We talk about the education. Yesterday, we talked about some of the things that we need or that people would like to see. And I preference for free, classes they would go to learn about particular things. And honestly, for the most part, it's centered around health, mental health, and finances. These seem like the top tier things that we focus on, in our lives because you go to work because you need that money. Um, he said, "Don't be putting all my business in the streets." um, so and as well as we need money, as well as we are very concerned, and our focus is mental health because we all have had situations of traumatic situations that they affect our decisions, and sometimes they are the underlying fear of making certain moves relationally. Mostly it's relationally, in our lives because of things that happened in the past, and these things can hinder better relationships, not just the man woman marriage relationships, but even just relationships with other people. The trust factor, I spoke about the trust factor in me years ago. And so today I want to focus on money. Is there a struggle to have this conversation, and why? So for me, two factors kind of come into play when it comes about the conversation surrounding money. So number one, uh, there is an embarrassment where you feel like you might not have as much as the circle that you're having the conversation with. Or you feel like financially I'm struggling more than everybody else around me. Um, you know, and And you know what's so funny? You ever have like when somebody may talk about money or credit and they kind of throw it up there like what they got of money, you know, sometimes it's a sign that there was a struggle at one point, but you know, I ain't living like that no more. It's like, you know, just want to let the world know that my struggle is not the same struggle. Um, but can we talk about it? Like, it's funny. I remember having a conversation about money with someone, and they just kind of, I don't know how did we get to it, but he just bust out, you know, what he make per year. Just like, this is what I make. It's like, I was like, I hate it. It's like there ain't no shame, you know. And it wasn't like in the six, you know, it wasn't in the six figures. I mean, it wasn't like 30, you know, so it was in between there. About 60, I think it was. And it was like, you know, it is what it is. I'm always looking for opportunities. So I let people know that's where I'm at. You know, you got an opportunity. I need you to beat that, you know, or if not more. Um, and then I know, you know, for some, they may feel, you know, especially if they're doing pretty well, you know, they don't want to make anybody else feel bad. You know, like I'm doing I'm doing quite well, you know, because I know they may have an idea of their circle or who they're dealing with or who they're talking to. You know, certain money conversations are different based on kind of where you're at. And what I mean by that, um, you know, like I had a friend and you know, I remember he was talking about like a house in Jersey or something like that. He was purchasing or something that's like $400,000, and you know, for him it was like casual conversation. You know, for us around, it's like, wow, that's quite a bit. And at first I thought in my mind that maybe he's bragging, but then I realized based on his circle, you know, because we're not we're not the circle he's around all the time. Um, it's like this is my regular conversation. You understand what I'm saying? So I think when it comes to money, I think the conversation is rough because of course it's like I don't want I don't want to be the poorest one in the room. You know what I'm saying? Like I you know, I think that's the struggle. Um and then sometimes though you may not be the wealthiest one, you might be the most skilled in something to provide the best part to the conversation. Um, so I think, you know, I don't know, like if we could just, if we were real, right? Had a real conversation about money and talked about what I'm earning, what I'm not earning. And I'm my caveat, I got past the hanging the ring, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started through the intro. And before I start, um, I struggle with it too. So I'm not, this is like for me, one of them hard parts, but I'm like, it's a conversation that needs to be had to get clarity of what we're trying to do. Um, because we're oh yeah, so in the meeting, you know, like talk to some brothers and they were just like, you know, the worst part is, you know, everybody talks about what we want to do. We all in, and then we get into a meeting in front of the people, and now everybody's pulling back because they don't really have the money. It's like, why not be honest in the beginning? You know, like for me, like if I'm in a conversation, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do. I'm like, man, that sounds good, but I'm gonna have to opt out because I don't have it. You know, like I'm gonna say it now. If you counting on me, listen, I got some hands in, I'm worked in, I can, you know, like I got this part, I can do this. But you know, when it comes to, you know, being honest, like, can I really get in a deal financially? Or am I listen, I'm the worker. I can make things happen that way. All right. So let's go ahead and kick this off. Have a had this real conversation. Spliggity spot. We'll be right back. Listen, while we're in our break, go somewhere, share, copy, share. Give me the thumbs up. And all right, looks like Pastor might stepped away. So I'm gonna delay just before I get started. But so and make sure you share and tag somebody. Cause I listen, I mean, real talk, right? Right now, think about it. Do you struggle with having the money conversation? Not the opportunity of earning money conversation, but the money conversation as to what you have, what you can contribute if we were to do such and such, where you at credit wise, and things of that nature. Um, let's see. Yep. Oh, can you have? Oh, no, you can't. Delays. I probably asked a lot of questions. how much I don't, how much I don't have. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let's kick this off.
I want to welcome you to the Brothers of Legacy broadcast, where we are changing our community one conversation at a time, every day.
We are creating a new legacy.
Change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come.
A co-op has to start with ownership. We have a mindset of either I want to make a lot of money or survive. Make a bunch of money or I got to figure out how to survive.
When you have a real bond, when everyone has, we come in with real expectations. Because this is covenant.
The whole premise is that we as a people, with our money and time, aren't often making this journey possible, often vested in the legacy.
You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out. We stand up.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday.
Yes, indeed. Happy Wednesday. As Kathy says, not today, Wednesday. Not today. All right. So Sam says, I guess if it was about a business venture, that would be different, but not just talking about it. Indeed, I'm with you on that. Like, if we're talking business, if we're talking about trying to build together to do something, I guess a purposeful conversation to talk about money, that would kind of make sense. So Pastor, what's your opinion or positioning? I kind of know a little bit because we've had some of these conversations, but do we struggle to talk about money? And I think, like Sam, just kind of going off what you're saying about just in a business venture, I think even maybe casual conversations though, like help open the door for other conversations. Meaning, if we're having a casual conversation, past like, yeah, then I got this building on the west side, that I'm working, it's just those casual, like, oh, okay, it's like put that in my memory bank. So someone's like, hey, I need a space. Oh, I know Pastor. He has a space on the west side,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what he's doing with it. I don't know where it's at, but I can connect you to, so I think the casual conversation can work as well. I mean, we rarely have the casual money conversation other than it ain't even casual. If something happens, what you got? What you got? What can you put in? Like a tragedy, a funeral, like how much you got? How much you got? Or even, like I said, or even just maybe a minor business venture, like, oh man, all we got to do is put together 5 G's, so what you got? What you got? Like, or what can you sacrifice? Or not even sacrifice, but what can you give that won't hurt your family? He said, yes, folks struggle mostly because they like, oh, yeah, we're going to get into it and pretend so much they can't talk about money because then you'll see they're a fake. Whew. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a big one. I think that might go into the embarrassing part because, like I'm able to kind of look like I got it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm in either I'm in debt up to here, or pretty much, things are paid off, or I don't, I got blessed with some things, because we accumulate all kinds of ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what would you say for you, Pastor? Like, just having the money conversation, like, what would you say some of the biggest apprehension that you feel or see, or even with yourself? Do you have, what's your apprehension, or do you have apprehension having the money conversation?
Not really. I
Okay.
mean, because I know I don't have as much as I want. Right.
Indeed.
I'm still working.
Okay.
I'm not
Right.
retired. I
Right.
don't have it all together.
Right.
Everything ain't paid off for
Right.
me. So I'm not gonna pretend like it is.
Right.
You know.
Right. 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 Right.
But I also think that financial conversations are definitely connected to the type of company that you keep, that you're entertaining,
Mhm.
right? Because
Okay.
you can't talk about money with everybody.
Mm.
Not everybody's at the same level,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I can talk about going to the movies, right? But
Right.
sometimes I can't talk about going to the movies and making a real estate investment with the same person.
Right. 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 Right.
Right.
I'm with you.
So you have to know your audience.
I agree.
Certain people, you can speak a financial language that others don't understand. And then, I think that money is a challenge for us because we've spent so much time, we spent so much energy historically just trying to make it.
Yeah. In
There
that survival
hasn't
mode.
been historically there hasn't been enough room. And I'm just talking where I come from. Where I come from, the way I grew up, it was about, getting the utilities paid
Right.
and having something left over.
Right.
The fact that you had something left over meant you were doing well.
Right.
you know
Right.
so transitioning from just making it,
Right.
keeping the utilities paid, keeping gas in the car, keeping the
Right.
car note paid,
Right.
and oh, you got insurance, wow, you living large.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Your
Right.
registration is current.
Right.
It's good tires on the car.
Right. Right. Yeah.
That's where I come from.
Right.
Like the first car in my family was mine.
Right.
My mother didn't have a car when I was growing up.
Right.
you know
Right.
and she didn't feel like she needed one because she worked to go to work. She walked out our back door, across the parking lot, and into the building.
Right.
you know
That makes sense.
so it just really depends, man. If you're looking to have a conversation about investing,
Right.
it's important to know who's invited to the conversation. You want everyone to be invited, but not everybody's coming in at the same level. So how do you
Right.
have that conversation?
Mhm.
And we just and you. I guess the question is, can we talk about money? Yes, we can,
Yeah.
if we're going to keep it real.
Right.
You know,
Right. I think that's it. That's the part.
yeah. But trust is a factor, man. We spend
Right.
so much time looking down our nose at each other,
Woo.
right? Comparing. We live a life
Right.
of comparison, and so
Right.
I'm not going to talk to someone about my financial disposition if secretly we're competing.
Mhm. Right. Right. I'm just trying
We
to
we
one
have
up
There's
you.
so many things that we have to
Yeah.
get over ourselves in order to have real conversation
Right.
about finance and about investing. And I got to be able to trust the people that I'm talking to,
Right.
you know. So
So
there's a whole lot. It's a broad question.
what do you mean by, so the trusting is the sharing of information, that you're not trying to share publicly, share to a broader audience kind of thing. You're saying, as far as the trust factor, or the trust is just being able to have a conversation without the I'm trying to one up you, you know,
It's a
in the
combination
conversation.
of both.
Okay.
It's a combination of both.
Gotcha. All right. So everybody in the room, like, so what do you guys think? Like, is there a struggle to have a conversation about money? Is there a struggle to really have that discussion? And if you're having a discussion about money, oh, I think you already muted. Okay, so if you're having the discussion about money, um,
As my
is
daughter
it
comes in and gets money from me.
right? Right. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. It's funny. I tell people, I'm like, you get out of diapers, you like, yes, diapers and wipes is over. I realize you're just taking that money and reinvesting it. It's just a reinvestment into the next
Yeah.
level. That's all that is. Formula, just reinvestments.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. What do you guys think? Like, is it a struggle to have those conversations? Do you feel like people aren't honest or straightforward about it? Do they not want to talk about it? Because I find that that money conversation can be great, but we just have to be honest. Like if we were trying to do something, like, man, we should come together and do such and such, right? That's the point. We're like, all right, where we at? Hey, Mama Corey.
Hey, Mom.
I was missing you. I was wondering if you're coming in this morning. So, can you have that? Like, hey, what's your credit? What's everybody credit score at? Like, to be honest, nah, you don't want to put my social down.
Yeah, but the reality is,
Yeah.
no one wants to talk about credit scores if you in the 600s.
Right. I'm with you. I'm with you.
And so if we're having a conversation about investing and it's going to require a decent credit score,
Right.
let me just let you know now.
Right.
Like, do you have the courage to say that? And it's not so much really it is the courage, but your level of courage is going to be based on what you anticipate the reaction to be. Right. If I'm not where you are, if I'm not over 700,
right.
Does that mean you're going to look at me like I'm not qualified? Right. Because I could have, $25,000, $30,000.
Right.
But my credit score is like 650.
Right.
So I can't be the credit worthy partner, but I can be a financial contributor.
Right.
But we have to think like that. And the thing is, we have to be willing to have those types of conversations, and then, are you willing? Can I trust you all enough to, if my credit score is over 700 and I put it on the line, are we fully committed?
Right. That too.
Yeah. I mean, like I've had to have conversations with my children. I'm like, no, I'm not co-signing that.
Right. Yeah.
Get you. I mean, I've had that, and I've had somebody mad at me, and I'm like, I love you, but no, no, I'm not going to do that. Not in this season. I need to see more from you before I
put my name on the line.
Yeah.
Let's see. Lisa says it depends on the person and where they are at in their finances. It also depends on if that person is working to better themselves in the area of finances or not.
Right. Absolutely. That's exactly my point, Lisa. I need to see some signs. I need to see some evidence that you're really trying to do something. And I'm always willing to help people. My mantra is I'll always do what I can.
Right.
But I won't do
what I can.
Right. Well, make sure y'all paying attention to that.
Oh yeah.
Right.
That is his mantra.
Yeah.
So what would let's get deep. What would evidence for you kind of look like? I mean, I guess there is the evidence of not having discipline. You may be able to see that, maybe. But what would in your eyes, or like what would you have to see? Because you got different levels of kids, so you can see. So
I watch patterns of behavior.
right,
You know,
okay,
I watch how you're spending money.
okay,
You know,
okay,
uh,
okay.
like if you trying to buy the latest pair of Jordans
Mm.
and you're not working,
Okay, okay. That's a pattern. That's not
that's
a
a pattern of yeah,
right.
that's something. Nah, if
I'm
you're
just trying
saying,
to.
if you're telling me,
She said, "Don't
huh?
ignore." She told me don't ignore a comment. I said, okay. She said, if I went from 400 to 600, I'm proud. Like,
Absolutely.
indeed,
I look from
indeed.
400 to 410. You should be
Right,
proud. Any improvement in your
right,
credit, you should be proud.
right.
You
And she
know,
said, the same
I was just
opportunity I
saying
catch the
that
next
there's
one.
certain things that, like there's levels to credit.
Yeah.
You know, people just coming at me in the morning. They see your light green and they just,
Right. Oh yeah, he's on. He's on.
yeah. You know, I was only saying that there's certain areas, there's certain things that you're trying to do that require a certain level
Okay.
of credit.
Yeah,
You
definitely,
know,
definitely. And so you saying you see like seeing the patterns of certain behaviors. You just like you said, the spending habits. You're right. If you're not working, trying to buy something like something that's
versus, hey,
not a
I'm
need.
working to try to save up
Right.
for
Right.
something. When I hear that kind of, because I've seen all of that. When I hear
Right.
that kind of conversation, I'm like, okay, you
You're
got your
being
head
mindful.
straight. So
Right.
I've been putting aside, $20 a week.
Right.
I'm trying to reach the goal of 300. Hey,
Right.
Dad, if I can get to 260, you think you could give me the last 40?
Right.
Yes,
Right.
yes, I can.
Right. I
You
got
know what I
you.
mean?
I got you. Because you're trying to at least be responsible. I got you, saying. I got you. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. Um. So yeah, so as people are coming in, that's my question today. Like, can we talk about money? What is, do you struggle with having the conversation? Do you struggle with revealing where you're at if we're talking about going into something or trying to purchase something? Like I spoke about some time ago, I had a talking with some guys and they were just saying, the worst. They came into, they were all excited about doing a deal until they sat down in a meeting and then everybody was pulling out because they really didn't have. But going in, they act like they had it, and not being honest about where you really at, and just saying, listen, this is my credit, so we can't really go with my credit, but I do have the cash, or I have the credit, but I don't have the cash. So I could put my name out there if you guys make sure you're not gonna disappear on me. I'll put my name on the line if you guys got the cash or whatever like that. We could work something out, and then I can afford. You get the down, I get the monthly. I help with the monthly or whatever it is, as far as building something. But yeah, it definitely. I think more of the financial conversation, and you're right. We've so funny that you said it though. We have been such a people of survival, um, that I think even just having the money conversation across different families is not something we do unless, we got to get money together right now. We got to bail Junebug out, or we got to pay a funeral. We got to get a lawyer. Like, what you got? What you got? What you got? Like, I ain't even like Junebug. I ain't got nothing. You need to rot in that jail. Maybe you learn. Oh, so it definitely, I really feel like if we can, I know if we stop fronting, you know, and it's okay. It's okay to do nice, drive nice, look nice. Um, but I think sometimes being able to have a real conversation, because like let's just say we're sitting down, we're trying to do a business thing or a venture, and someone's like, hey, when it comes to credit, I can't get in there. Someone might be like, hey, I got a resource that can help get you back on track. You know what I'm saying? Like that, that may be something that you've not tried or eye opening and things of that nature. Because I feel like having those conversations will help build our community. Because a lot of times some people have opportunities that you think, nah, such and such, they good. They don't need this. Like, they don't need this. Meanwhile, like, I need it. Like,
Right.
I
Right.
need that. I need that now. I've needed that yesterday. Like, nothing, nothing. The worst thing is like, oh man, it cost me this much. I had to get such and such. And Pastor's like, I had that right there. You should have just said something. like, you doing
I
all
can't
that.
tell you the number of times that has happened.
I got that thing right here. Like, I just bought the subscription to something. I thought I needed it for a full year. You could have had the rest of the 6 months. Like, So it's and I think the more if we get into and if we get more honest with our village, I think we can save so much trouble, so much heartache.
Yeah, but that mentality, man, and that's what's so interesting to me is the level of petty. Petty breeds prevention. Petty prevents progress.
Petty prevents progress.
Yeah.
3 P's.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we're so easily frustrated, so easily angry.
Right.
We get mad over anything. We just nitpick at each other constantly, and that's not everybody. I'm saying
No.
that.
No, I get it.
I heard a long time ago from someone. He said, "All you need is an excuse. All some people need is an excuse." And so I'm grateful for my village. I thank God that I'm working with progressive minded individuals. I'm working with people that are trying to get somewhere. And for the people that may not have the resources, but they have the heart and the desire to get somewhere, come on.
Right.
Let's make it happen. Years ago, it was tougher to have these types of conversations, but it's easier to have them now. I feel like we're working with a different breed of individuals. We got people that have that entrepreneurial hunger.
Yeah.
People want their own stuff. People are looking to make investments. And so we are primed for greatness.
Yeah.
More so now than we have ever been.
Yeah.
And so I believe that there's less of that petty, there's less of that competitive stuff, but it still exists.
Right.
And so what I think we should do is when we're having conversations, we're going to learn, wow, you want a lot of what I want.
Right.
And to your earlier point,
right.
You're already doing that. I've been trying to get in.
Right.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Right. Right.
That's where we really need to be. My wife was just telling me, she was on her way out this morning going to a real estate meeting. And she was saying that, she's part of this new brokerage. They, the couple of sisters got together. They all have passed the broker's exam. So they've all become brokers and they've created their own brokerage firm.
Right.
So they're excited,
Yes,
they
indeed.
get all the pictures and all that kind of stuff and got the business launched and they're bringing in agents and everything. And if anybody who knows my wife, she talks kind of proper. Right. And so they were at a meeting the other day and someone said, we need to make sure that Christelle speaks first because she's the one who speaks the most proper English. And I was like, lovely, don't be mispronouncing words. No. my point is, someone started with this vision and launched this brokerage and invited these other sisters in. So she got the lion's share of the psychological, financial, emotional, mental investment. Right. Because she launched it. Yeah. She brought these other individuals in who said, I'm with you. I want to be a part of what you're doing. And it can become our thing.
Right.
And these sisters got together and they look like Charlie's Angels taking their pictures. And, seriously. And I'm like, wow, okay, y'all doing it. Go do your thing,
That's awesome.
And so what I'm saying is when my wife said that, I said, look at the benefit of your participation.
Right.
Everybody brings something to the table. Right. And what I bring is as valuable as what you bring if you're unable to do what I can do.
Right.
That's the part. And so that's why I say, in a church, in a business, the janitor is as important as the CEO, because when people come in and the floor is not clean, you can still lose business.
Indeed.
right?
That's
So
true.
everybody brings something to the table. And what we have to do is remember to respect and value whatever it is that you're willing to bring to the table, because it's
Right.
all a sacrifice for the betterment of the entire group,
Definitely.
you know.
Definitely. That's interesting, Lisa. She said, growing up, I could remember everyone always having to come together and give money when someone died. I thought that was the way things worked. I would have, it would have been so much easier to learn about insurance. Right, right. And she's also said, even coming together to make sure insurance policies were paid would have made more sense and a greater lesson. Indeed,
Right.
indeed.
But again, we had to learn about recurring payments.
Right,
Right.
right,
Why your car get repossessed? I didn't keep making the payments.
right,
You know, we feel like we can come together and do a fundraiser
right,
as opposed to the commitment or the consistency of a monthly recurring investment
right.
to
Something that
ensure.
protects.
Like I tell people, sometimes it makes more sense to pay $10 a month than to
Right.
think that you're going to raise $1,000 in 2 weeks.
Right.
It just
That's true.
that concept just makes more sense. That just sounds more logical to
Right.
me.
Yeah.
But here I am having to pay whatever the deficit or the delta is between grant and scholarship money for my children to go to college,
Right.
because I didn't make the right investments while they were growing up. So now I'm having to pay this money that I should have been saving.
Right. Makes
So on one side, I'm saying, yeah, all of that makes sense. On the other side, I'm like, I missed it over here.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Because
I'm with
they chopping his wallet up, bro.
Right. Yeah.
Seriously. And the message was, keep them grades, keep them grades, keep them grades.
Yes.
And this Georgia lottery money, that ain't 100%.
Right.
It ain't 100%.
Right. I hear you. Oh,
I need to win the lottery.
Right. Get on the other side of that.
Yeah, because you're still the honor roll star. I'm like, y'all stay on the honor roll. I want y'all to be high school scholars. We're gonna get that money from this lottery. Nah.
Right. I hear you. Oh, all right. So yeah, like I said, today it's a quick reset. You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We come on every single morning, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today we're talking about, can we have the conversation about money, and just can we talk about it? Is it a tough discussion? Is it hard to have these conversations, or have you tried to have these conversations even within your own family, or your extended family, just to have the conversations about money and what can we do? Can we build together? What are we lacking? What can we work on together? And instead of so separate, because we get into that individualistic, kind of mindset where I'm gonna do mine, you do yours, and instead of collectively coming together, because that's something big right there. She said, just coming together on an insurance policy, everybody's making sure everybody's policy paid up. So if something happens, and just even if you're honest, like, hey, I might not make my insurance payment this year, or this month. I got you. How much is it? $20? I got you. Because God forbid something happened, I need all of that covered.
And knowing what types of policies, that's another thing, man. I don't want to get into that because
I'm gonna try to have somebody on here to talk about.
I've made that mistake, man, and you go get a 15-year term policy. You pay 15 years on a term policy, and that 15 years comes and goes. You wake up one day and it's been 15 years.
Right.
And you can't do nothing with the policy. And then now it's time to renew the policy and the price quadruples.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So because I didn't die in the last 15 years,
I don't get nothing. Congratulations.
I get nothing.
You made it. You made it through.
Read the fine print, folks. I'm telling you.
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have somebody on. If you know somebody, we're gonna talk about the differences between term and whole and all of that, and what goes into it, and how to. because online they've been talking about how to make money or how to generate tax-free income from a whole life insurance. And there's ways, but you got
Yes.
to do it, but it's got to be done right.
You literally with a whole life policy, you can become your own bank.
Yeah, but you got to be done right.
Yeah.
Because I went down a rabbit hole, talked about it yesterday. Got to be done right because it's got to be structured properly for you to actually earn that. So it's not like just jumping into Gerber. You got to jump into the right policies that make sense. So, all right. So, but yeah, having these conversations though, like talking about it, because a lot of times we talk about what we would want to do, what we want to get into. It's just talking about where we at now and how can we get there. I'm I'm probably adding that to my list of things I want to try to have more conversations about, just within my brothers, and just about money, so I can maybe see something either a little different or just trying to get a little more focus on, so I can make better decisions as far as financial and things of that nature. Just learning more, because like I said, but you got to be honest. Like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where I would like to be. Like you guys.
That's what happened to me.
Okay.
We moved to Georgia, bought a house, and it was a bad loan, interest only loan that had a trick in it. And my payment doubled.
Right.
And I couldn't afford the double payment.
Right.
And I couldn't redo my loan. And I'm like, I will kill myself trying to make this payment.
Right.
So I had to file bankruptcy.
Right.
And gave up that house, and then had to rebuild my credit.
Yeah.
I feel like I could teach credit rebuilding classes now. But I had to file bankruptcy literally because of this house. Wow. And I'm making six figures, but having to file bankruptcy at the same time.
Right.
You know how embarrassed I was going to the attorney's office. Right. And I got to go to court and get this stuff off me. And part of the process is, what is your income?
Right.
And they talk and they look at your income like, well, how you get here? Right. Yeah. And because I made a bonehead mistake, I didn't really understand what I was getting into.
Right.
And we do that kind of stuff, and we're not willing to admit that we've made those types of mistakes. Right. And so not only do we hurt ourselves, but there's somebody next to you that might be heading down the same path, and you won't even tell them.
Right.
Because you're ashamed.
Right.
Now both of y'all, you know what I mean? So it's those types of things. And the thing is, they haven't stopped printing money. And as long as you're alive and breathing, I am proof that you can outlive a bankruptcy.
Right.
Indeed. And get yourself back to a good credit standing. I know that because I've lived it. I've done it. It took work. It took time, but I did it. And now, like I can do what I need to do and all that kind of stuff. And so there's a statement that says, what is it, man? I'm gonna mess it up. I'm gonna mess it up. I gotta call my wife. Time out. I ain't gonna. But the point that I'm trying to make is, we have to get over ourselves, and the sooner we get over ourselves, the better off we really, really are. And that's just the truth. And be willing to talk about the mistakes that you've made, financial mistakes, so that you can teach other people.
You calling it now? I'm
calling it because I really want to say this. And when I say it, somebody's gonna know it, but I want to give it away.
So again, anyone that's not jumped in this conversation, my question is, do you struggle with having the conversation about money? Do you feel like money is a challenging conversation to have to get over? Right, definitely got to get over ourselves. E-double in the building, Mr. Reparations himself. Do you struggle with having the financial conversations? Do you struggle with talking about money and credit and things of that nature? All right, go ahead.
Got it. Cash is king, but money is power. Right. I mean, but credit is power. Cash is king, but credit is power.
Right.
That's what it was. That's what my wife told me.
Cash right. King, it's a live call to the wife. Right. Phone a friend.
Cash is king. Credit is power.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I was talking to someone in finance a few months ago, because I'm constantly talking about what are sound investments. We've been talking about sound investing, and I've been trying to make sure, like my goal is to make sure that I live a life that outlives me. Right.
Definitely.
Which means life is legacy. So I got to make sure that I do something that leaves an imprint that others will benefit from when I'm gone.
Right.
And so in that vein, investments are critical. Make the right investments. And we're having these conversations with people. And someone said to me, that guy who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Kiyosaki, whatever his name is, talked about living a debt-free life. Right. That's a wonderful, liberated life.
Yeah.
You understand? For someone who's sitting on a ton of cash. Right. But that's not how America operates. Right.
Indeed.
Thank you, baby.
Indeed.
In America, I've learned that the most successful people in America are living off interest.
Yes.
Living off other people's money.
Yep.
Which requires credit. And so if you can learn that and understand that, you can make a lot of moves. And I, one of it was like, people, I got so much equity in my house, got equity in my house. How, if you're sitting on a bunch of equity in your house, but you're not leveraging that equity to make other investments, then you've messed up. You're messing up. Because you're not gaining any interest on the equity in your house except the equity itself. But you can pull some of that equity out, go make an investment that can bring you capital gain. Right.
Definitely. Yep.
And so it's conversations like that. And that's what I mean when I say cash is king, but credit is power.
Yeah.
And we have to have those type of conversations, because we missed all those classes historically, generationally. We missed those classes. And it was intentional. They didn't want us to know that stuff.
Indeed. Ephraim said it's harder to talk when you feel like you'll be judged, and when you feel that you should have had, you should have had the discipline to not be in the financial situation, but you still have to talk. That's hard. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And he said, at what point can someone who is financially struggling begin to think about investments?
Well, if that's you today, then the answer is today.
Today. Indeed. Today.
The answer is today. You can always think about investments.
Right.
Always.
Definitely.
Because an investment requires you putting something aside.
Right. You can start now. Yeah. They're either, as you work, either if you're not doing your 401k, there are several apps that you can take something out every week, straight out of your paycheck. They have a lot of different programs, just for and it's not just for Ephraim. I know it may not be for him, but just anyone listening. Yeah, just you got to get into the discipline of saving or putting the money to the side for investments. And just there are like Robinhood, who I don't recommend a whole lot, but it just came to mind. Cash App, you can actually invest in there as well. They're like investment options, so you can have Cash App regularly take a certain amount out of your bank account, but you just having the discipline to put something to the side, and as your money grows, like you get raises and things like that, instead of building on your liabilities, you need to start building on your investments. Start putting more money into your investments. And honestly, like that's the way we should be in life, as our cash grows. If you're at least in a comfortable space, stay where you're at, increase your investments, and it'll grow over time, as opposed to, increasing the size of your house, which can be good, but it's better at least put some into somewhere where you can generate, interest sooner. And then that interest can begin to pay for your principals, for your house and your cars and things of that nature. Get into that passive income space. He said, debt is thinking only about today. Credit is thinking about tomorrow. He said, I heard that from an old man. Yeah.
But, that old man has to recognize that leveraging credit puts you in debt.
Yeah. It is. Right. And it's so crazy. Like the more I dig into like businesses just they strive on debt. They borrow money, to do bigger projects instead of taking their cash and paying for it. They get a loan, and now I just take smaller loans and make more money off of wherever I add it to. So it's a that debt thing is, because we just been taught to fear debt. Like, oh my God, you don't want to be in debt.
because we were never trained with the discipline to
Right.
make payments.
Right.
That's why we fear debt.
Right.
Because you could hear your mama or your daddy on the phone saying, I'll get you on the 15th.
Right.
Scrambling to get the power bill paid. And that bill is due every month.
Yeah.
How are you missing your power bill when you need lights and it's due every month? What
Indeed.
did you do with the power bill money?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's getting paid on Friday and broke Saturday and forgetting that your power bill is due next Wednesday.
Right.
That's short-term thinking.
Yeah.
And this is something that like we've been teaching our children this forever. I feel like I've been having this conversation forever. Because I made those mistakes early in life. I'll never forget, man, when I had to be 20, 25 or 26, and I had messed up on a car payment, and I didn't have any much credit to begin with, and the little that I had, I messed it up. And back then, you could order water. They would deliver these big 5-gallon jugs of water, and you had the little water dispenser in your home.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to try to get water service, living in California, and I was denied.
Wow.
And that turned into a testimony. I said, I was so jacked up I couldn't even afford water. Right. Like,
yeah.
I wasn't worthy of water service.
Right.
I just like, if you can really wrap your brain around that. But the thing is, like, I was a single parent with 3 children trying to make it. My bills outweighed my income at the time, and it was, but I can't get water.
Right.
And no one cares about your story.
Yeah. No.
You understand? And so that's where the shame comes in.
Right.
And you don't want to talk to anybody about what you're going through. And so what I'm saying is, people, the only way to get healed of financial situations is to have real conversation about it.
Right.
And get educated on it.
Right.
That's just the reality. Otherwise, you're not going to get it fixed. You got to deal with this thing, and we have to have these conversations about money because our children are watching.
Definitely. Yep.
I don't want them making the same mistakes that I made at a young age.
Right.
My mom used to have me take her paycheck to the bank on Friday. She would have me like go handle bills. And I went through the motion, but I never understood the concept.
Gotcha. Right.
I was just doing what my mother told me to do. It was not, you need to do this to make sure this, and this. It was, do this because I'm at work.
Right.
And so it has to be explained. You have to understand the value and the benefit of taking care of your money.
Yeah.
Taking care of your name.
Yep.
Taking care of your credit.
Yeah.
Because it'll come back to bless you later.
Right. Yeah.
That's why the scripture talks about stewardship. Right? You be faithful over a few things, I'll make you ruler over many. You take care of your money, you take care of your credit, you will grow. You're destined for greatness when you can do that, but you're not going to get there without having conversation, without education. So we got to talk about money. We got to talk about it.
You just
without shame.
You threw a preacher rhyme in there? Conversation without education?
Boy, they didn't even know it.
So listen, we appreciate you guys for rocking with us and hanging with us every day, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to whenever we finish. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being a part. Again, make sure you share, tag somebody. I think this was a pretty good conversation. So we're gonna continue this conversation going into tomorrow. Just a little twist on it. But I appreciate you guys for being here. Stay connected to us. Text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. Never miss a broadcast. Always know what the brothers are doing. As always, we appreciate you being here. Continue to stay safe, do the right thing. Know that we love you. God loves you more. And we will see you in the AM. Peace out. As always, we love you. Know that God loves you more. Stay safe. Thank you guys for hanging, being with us. Sharing is caring.